Trigger warning and content note. This episode discusses gun violence, racial terrorism, and incidents of radicalized violence, including details surrounding the deaths of Black individuals and the rhetoric of white supremacy. Please take care of your heart and mind. If you feel overwhelmed or triggered, it is okay to pause the episode and return when you have capacity. Your well being comes first. Like the video, we have a lot that we are unpacking today, and I'm glad you're here. So, like the video, comment, subscribe to the page, share this video with someone, interact. Tell me what you're thinking, tell me your thoughts. I also want to shout out the inner circle who is here with me. So, y'all may hear me talking to them from time to time. So, shout out to y'all. If you are wanting to be a part of the inner circle, wanting to connect, please do go to patreon.com/minding my black ass business. There you will be able to connect with the inner circle. It's $5 a month. The first 7 days are free. There is a lot that's happening and a lot that I am going to be putting in there. So I'm trying to get the people in place. But you get access to behind the scenes information, you get access to updates about what's happening. You're the first to know the things that are happening. So tap in to the inner circle. Hey y'all, I'm Kimberlyn, and this is the Frolicking Truth, a soft space for Black women who are tired, brilliant, and ready to heal. Here, joy meets justice. We calm our Black ass nervous systems, we unmask, and we leave behind whatever that is trying to kill us. You're seen here, you're safe here, and you don't have to do this alone. All right, so hey, what's up? Welcome to episode 20 of the Frolicking Truth podcast for Black women who are tired, brilliant, and ready to heal, where joy meets justice and our nervous systems get free. Also, fun fact, I said all of that from memory. I always tease Kalanda, my cousin, because she memorizes the things for so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese. And I'm like, why do you have that in your brain? Because I do not. But I did have the intro to the Frolicking Truth in my brain. But I also do this every week as opposed to every other week. Anyways, even if you don't identify with any of the descriptors that I listed, you are more than welcome to stay and hang out. And all I ask is that you come ready to listen, ready to learn, ready to support, ready to think critically, to think critically and to have discourse and activate your brain cells, if you will. The comment says, yes, brain people got OT today. Yeah, yeah. We need to get the brain people into the room because it's a lot that's going on out here. So before I get into the things, the first thing that I want to say is like the video, like the video, like the video, subscribe to the page, make a comment, share the video. I need y'all to do the things. I need y'all to push the buttons. I need y'all to do the things. Okay? Because yeah, it's a lot that needs to be said and it's a lot of people that need to know about it and I need your help in spreading that. So before I get into all the things, I just want you to go ahead on and stop and do that right now. Now let me try to get my framing together, girl, cuz I'm just okay, that feels I'm a little bit more centered there. Okay, I be trying to show my little painting in the back, back there because I had painted that, which I need to figure out a new painting. My cousin she bought me like a portable painting set. So it's like a portable frame and then it also has like a canvas in it. And I want to paint something, but I have not yet figured out what I'm going to paint. But I feel like I need to paint something for this current state of life. So actually, you know what's so interesting is this painting that's behind me. Let me shift my camera again so y'all can see it a little bit. Hold on. And I know the blur is on, but you don't have to deal with it. Just look through it. Look through the blur. But this painting that's back here, I made that last October. So it's October of 2024 and it's a mood painting. So I had tracked my mood for the month of October, and then I had like a key, and I used that key to, like, let's say pink was happy and blue was productive and green was melancholy. I don't know. I don't remember what the key is right now. But nonetheless, I had a key, and that's how the painting came about. That's how the colors were chosen. I feel like maybe I want to do a new one because it's damn near October, y'all. Where? So hold on. I have a comment that I need to get to. Let me readjust myself before I get back to October. The comment says, paint your view. This is the thing. I don't know how to paint things. That's not my forte in life. I'm very much an abstract girly. Okay. Well, so we'll have to figure out what that looks like abstractly. Okay, because me trying to paint these trees and these mountains, girl, child, that would be something. But yeah, so I'm an abstract artist, so I just have to figure out what that looks like. But my life now in October of 2025 is very different than what my life was looking like in October of 2024. And I really want to capture that as a timestamp to just kind of process, because a lot of things are really happening right now. So that will give me the ability to artistically capture all of that. So that was a full on unplanned side note, but also very much relevant in my auntie check-in, because that's what I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing right now. I'm really getting into my creative bag, and I feel really, really good about that, because that means that my brain is in a space where I am able to access my upstairs brain, which is where creativity lives. So, we've talked about brain research a lot. Matter of fact, do I need to go ahead on and pull up the graphic? Because y'all know a teacher gonna teach. Okay, hold on, because I wasn't planning to do this, but I can. Wait just a moment and let me help get us together. So that's something else that I've been leaning into while I'm pulling up this graphic, is the scientificness of my life, and really honoring that I am a scientist, and like being in that space and living in that space and being okay with being in that space. I actually this morning had made some face wash. Wait, hold on. Y'all know I can't do two things at one time. Wait a second. What am I looking for now? Oh, yeah, I remember. Here we go. Let me get this up first. It's too many tangents. So this is what's happening in my brain right now, is that my brain people are not necessarily bouncing all over the place, but there is a lot of energy that is happening right now. I will say that energy is probably very much excitement, which is phenomenal, but also I need us to take turns, because that's what happens, is we don't be doing good with taking turns. And then I be trying to get everybody together because y'all doing the most. So that's what's happening right now, is everybody's just bouncing around. Also, so I ran across this video. I got ADHD. I don't know if y'all knew that about me. Welcome. I ran across this video that was talking about what it's like to have ADHD, and my God, today, the number of overlapping voices that be going on in an ADHD brain, it is wild, yo.
Throw that ass in a circle.
What time is it? What the hell, Yonke? I really need to clean the kitchen.
Oh no, are they still having their candles?
Because I think I fell asleep last night before I checked my card out. Why did I come in here?
Where'd that banana come
I
from?
really think I might have dementia. I need to Google it.
I swear I didn't go to the store yet.
Wait, what time is it?
What the hell, Yonke?
Do you have any kids?
Yes, I have 10 minutes to get ready.
Wait, did I take my medicine?
Mike Jones, who?
Wait, what day is
How
it?
many
Did I take my
days
medicine
you
last
got?
night? I can't remember.
If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I don't know about last night, but I need to take today. I need to Google signs of dementia right now. Wait, where's my water?
Ellipses.
Where did that banana come from? I'm starting to get concerned. Wait, what was I looking
I still need to organize those
I've been
bags.
talking about that for like a year.
There's probably like a whole family of tarantulas in there or something.
I really hope I ordered those candles last night. Oh my gosh, my water. Bitch, you doing a good job. Bitch, you doing a good job. Oh my gosh, why do I forget everything?
Ellipses.
Guess I'll have to fill my water up. Stupid lid. Do you have any kids?
Wait, where are tarantulas even from?
Did I order those candles last night?
I can't remember
or
if
not?
I checked out before I fell asleep.
Wait, I still need to schedule an oil
I need to write
change.
that down somewhere before I
Wait,
forget.
what's the weather gonna be like
Oh
today?
my god.
Can I go a single day without making a mess?
Crap.
Pink pony Gosh, my head hurts.
I'm gonna keep on dancing.
Seriously, I went to scream.
Ellipses.
I literally just dropped that water and forgot about it. I am over it. Why do I have to struggle so much? I wonder what it's like to not have to struggle.
Sounds boring.
Wait, what time is it?
Oh my gosh, I have like 3 minutes left.
Wait, why did I come over here?
Wait, did I make my lunch yet? I thought I made my lunch last night.
No, I did
What
not.
the hell?
Why am I holding a towel?
Oh yeah, right, from the
I'm gonna
spill.
put it in the laundry room.
Oh my gosh, if I run into one more thing. Here we
Fucking
go.
laundry.
Fuck. I just a baby. Look away. Look away. Look away. Go ahead. Wait, did I start my laundry? Okay, good. Bitch, you doing a good job. Bitch, you doing a good job. Oh my god. I forgot to make coffee. What the hell?
This is her baby girl, and then she wanna scream. Why isn't it working? I forgot freaking water. I forgot water. Genius.
Golly.
Yes, I have one daughter. How about you?
If you are somebody who does not have that internal monologue, I actually think that you're weird. I'm going to be honest. And also, I be trying to say like curiosity over judgment and things, but I think it's weird. I think it's weird if somebody doesn't have an internal dialogue. Because, like, how do you make it in the world? Like, how do you make decisions? Maybe it's just that I feel like that you don't know your internal dialogue because you've never taken a walk through your brain and you've never taken time to actually do know those things. But like how's your brain operating? Ain't nobody in there. Nobody ain't saying nothing at no time. I think it's weird. I think it's weird. I'm just saying. So if you feel judged, I'm not even sorry about it, to be honest. I'm really not. I think it's weird and I just don't know what to do with that. So sorry if I offended you, but also I think it's weird. Okay, so anyway, coming back coming back to our brains, let me get focused. Okay. So, I was mentioning about curiosity and creativity and all that kind of stuff, but I wanted to take us back to our brain research because I believe in grounding us in the things and helping us to really understand what's going on. So these are the four parts of our brainstem, our limbic area, our prefrontal cortex, and our cortex. And a lot of times, we are not really necessarily aware of what part of our brain that we're in at any given time. So our brainstem is fight, flight, freeze response, controls involuntary systems like breathing, blinking, all of that kind of stuff lives in that brainstem area. Then we have our limbic area where our amygdala lives, our memory lives there. Our prefrontal cortex controls our impulse, insight, and empathy. That's where we make decisions. And then our cortex is where we move from automatic things to awareness. We're thinking about our thinking. We're able to be creative. We're able to do all those things, right? So it is not until we're able to move out of our brainstem and out of our limbic area where we're asking those questions, am I safe? Am I loved and connected? That we're able to move into our executive state of functioning, which is where we're thinking, what can I learn? What can I do? How can I be creative? How can I like do all these things, right? I said all of that to say I'm really grateful that I feel like I am in my executive state and I'm operating in my prefrontal cortex and cortex of my brain. And I'm really able to create and think and like be alive. Like it feels so much different, for example, than again it felt like a year ago. So I'm excited about that. Now this morning I did me a little creation adventure, right? So I really want y'all to picture like a scientist, and I don't want to say a mad scientist because I don't feel like I'm a mad scientist. Mad meaning crazy, but also crazy is subjective. But picture a mad scientist, y'all. I'm full on like getting my things together, all of my supplies and my equipment and all that because I'm making things. And today I made one of the first things that I've been needing to make, which is a foaming face wash. Or maybe I should just do I made a foaming face wash this morning and it's so easy. I've literally just been putting it off for a while, but I had gotten my peppermint castile soap, which is a base for a lot of the things that I needed to create. So today I was about to get in a shower and I was like, sis, you know what we gonna do is we gonna make this foaming face wash because that is an integral part of my shower routine. So I did, I used witch hazel. So you use water, witch hazel, and Castile soap. And then I used some essential oils. So I used tea tree and then I also used peppermint. It was a delightful experience. I really enjoyed it. Also, my witch hazel is cucumber witch hazel, which was not on purpose and has made it very interesting because I have like a certain like smell profile, if you will, that I was anticipating having, but the cucumber is giving it an extra twist that I wasn't necessarily prepared for. But in the face wash, it worked well. It worked well. So, yeah, I did that right quick. It probably took me not even 5 minutes. I literally just had to get the measuring cups and get it popping. But it was really delightful. Like I really enjoyed the smell of it and the feel of it. And because it has the Castile soap for me, it really does like remove impurities, but it also leaves my face feeling squeaky clean. And then so when I get out of the shower, then I use my face serum. And child, I use the last 3 drops today. Oh man. Ugh. So that means I probably have to take a field trip this week to go to the mall because I'm not yet ready to start the face serum. I need to do a little bit more research and I also need to get some more products before I do the face serum. So I'm gonna get the face serum from the place that I've always gotten it from and just use that until I figure out how to customize what I want to do. But what I did decide I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make me some deodorant, natural deodorant. I am a natural deodorant girly, and you can feel about it how you want to feel about it. But this is what I also want to tell you. This is what I also want to tell you. When you stop eating meat, when you stop eating meat, you don't really be stinking like that. Your poop doesn't stink. You don't really be thinking about the underarms. It's really because of the meat. And I'm not trying to influence nobody's decisions. Like if you committed to the meat gang, be meat gang gang. I'm just telling you that the reason that I'm able to use natural deodorant is because I don't be funky like that because I don't eat meat. Message. But anyway, so the next thing that I want to create is deodorant. And I have all the products for that. I think it's witch hazel. I think I'm gonna do a Himalayan salt one and see how that works. It's a few couple blends that I'm thinking about, but that's my next venture is doing a deodorant because I do not want to use, what do I want to call it? Synthetic deodorant. Like I really do want to use as many natural products as I possibly can. So yeah, so that's my next project or whatever. So I've been in the lab. Like I literally am looking at where to get, because this is the other thing, because I'm a scientist, it's really hard for me to not think about things scientifically and how things are supposed to be done in the lab. So I'm in here like I need to get me some pipettes. I need to get a whole new set of sterilized bowls. I think it'd be a lot. So I also be trying to keep myself from going down that rabbit hole because I am a real scientist. So it's been interesting, but I'm trying to do this like kitchen, easy to access, like type of thing where it doesn't feel so constricted and like there are so many rules, if you will. Like I want it to feel like you're able to do this without having to be so structured. That's what I'm saying, structured and rigid. So I'll keep y'all posted on that and what that looks like and sounds like for me. Y'all see that Raina is in pineapple mode today. I had her down yesterday because I think I'm gonna cut me some bayangs is what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. I'm not quite sure about what that's gonna look like because the front of my hair is long. Like the front of my hair be like here up in my chest. Honestly, the back of my hair is shorter because when I had first got it cut, I don't know. I think maybe the top of my head just grow faster. I don't know. Anyway, the fact is, the front of my hair is long, so I'm trying to figure out if I want to commit to the cut or if I want to just keep pinning it and then letting it go over. But this is the thing that happens when you have bayangs and when you have hair in your face, that your face gets to breaking out. And I don't want to have that happen, right? And also, I'm doing a new experiment with this face wash, so I need to limit my number of variables, right? So right now, I feel like I might wear it up for a little bit. And also, this is a style where it can kind of let me not have to wash as frequently, but also when I don't wash as frequently, my hair gets tangled. It's a catch 22, and I'm just over here figuring out. That's what I'm telling you. But Raina is in pineapple mode. Okay, she's up, she hanging out and doing the thing, and I'm glad to see her. Let y'all see my whole face and such. Get into them angles. Okay. So yeah, Verena's doing well. I am still figuring out that little patch that I told y'all about, but you can't really see it when she's like this because now the middle is kind of flopped open. But the curls are popping. They getting kind of juicy. The steam treatment in the shower works. So having just letting the shower steam up has been really good for hydration and all of that. So, we're taking it one day at a time. I definitely do want to make some type of hair cream and or oil. So that's one of the projects that's on the list of things that I need to do. But again, I have a few other oils that I want to get because I'm thinking about doing like an infused rosemary or and calendula, and like it's a few different herbs. So said all that to say, y'all, my brain be in planning mode, my God, today with all of these things that I want and need to do because I got to get back to the market so I could get me some more teas and some more loose leaf tea and get me some herbs so that I can make these products. Like it's a lot. So I've really just been trying to plan all of that out. And I think I am gonna take this field trip on Friday and try to get some of these things taken care of so I can get them out of my brain and off my list because it's a lot. Okay. But that's what's going on with Raina. I'm excited for her. She's doing a really good job. Bitch, you doing a good job. So brand bestie updates. So y'all, I'm going out and went on over there to the TikTok. Now I ain't recorded nothing yet though. I ain't recorded nothing yet. But I did go over there to the TikTok and I changed the handle. So what I decided to do was to keep the I'm getting on my nerves because I'm not centered. I gotta get myself together. Hold on. Insert elevator music here. How I want to sit. Let me just sit like this. All right, that's better. Cause I wasn't centered and I was on my nerves. What I was gonna say. Damn, this ADHD be jacking my ass up. But good thing I got notes. Oh, I was talking about the TikTok. So what I did is I went down over there to the TikTok and I just changed the handles. So the last handle was minding my black ass business. That's not it anymore. I just changed it to Kimberlyn J. So I'm down over to the TikTok and I am preparing myself to have my first little story times or whatever and see how that go. But I also have to figure out like how the app works. I've never really created in the app, so that's like the next thing that I'm trying to figure out. But I'm excited about it because y'all know I be having me a story time, girl. Speaking of, the tea for today is hibiscus and mint. That's the tea for today, along with infused coconut oil as well as brown sugar. But the mint is giving because I had told y'all I'm gonna have to put a clip in here. I had replanted my mint plant a couple weeks ago, maybe. And it was because it was running long as opposed to getting bushy. So I had replanted it and kind of like put the vine or whatever, the runner into the thing so that it could grow bushy. And child, it's out there flourishing. But also, something is eating my leaves of my mint plant. And I don't appreciate that. I don't know if it's the ants because at one day I had found ants in there and then I had put some cinnamon down. because the people said that's how you keep the ants out of it. But also, it's rained a few times, so the cinnamon might have dripped out. So maybe that's why they back over here on my leaves. I don't know, but it could also, you know who it could be, is it could be Lucy, because Lucy likes to come on down here, and she usually be chomping at the onion plant, but she probably done found that cinnamon. I don't know. So anyway, my mint came from my garden. And I'm really proud of myself, y'all. I be growing things. I really, for a while, thought that I had a brown thumb. And I don't know why I thought that, because I am a whole biologist. But I think it was because of my ADHD, because I'd be like, can't nobody remember to water no plants? Like, and also my life was hella crazy. So I just didn't have the capacity at that time to remember to water no plants. But now my life is different. Okay, so I'm out here growing things. Okay, so the mint is thriving. I took me a couple leaves off of the mint plant and put it into my tea this morning, and it is tea. The tea is tea. Okay, it's good. So that is yet another update about what's going on. Okay, so speaking of updates, let's do our subscriber update. So last week we were at 1,424 subscribers, and this week we are at, drum roll, please. That's the summertime intro. I don't know if y'all knew that. Anyway, we are at 1,433 subscribers this week. Body roll, body roll, body roll. Yes. So, welcome to all of the new subscribers. Introduce yourself in the comments. Say hey. Let me know where you're joining from. Let me know what brought you on down over here to the Frolicking Truth. Honey, hey, girl. Hey, sir. Hey, non binary person. Hey, y'all. Get on in here. I'm excited to have you here. Yes. I see in the chat my propagations are starting to sprout too. Yes. Propagations, water propagations is how I started my plant journey. Propagation, for anybody who doesn't know what that means, is when you take a piece of a plant, a piece of an already living, thriving plant, and then you take a clipping from that, and then you put that into water and you allow it to root. And then you can either sometimes grow the plant in water. That's called hydroponic, or you can transfer it into dirt once it has healthy and sustainable roots, and then it just kind of goes from there. So when I was talking about my mint, that's what I had did, is I had bought some mint from the grocery store. And then I said, I want to have my own mint. So I put it into water and I let it grow its roots. And then I transfer it. At the time, I transferred it into like a 16-ounce water bottle. And it kind of started growing from there. And so now it's in the size of like a 5 gallon, not gallons. What would that be called? 5 liters, a 5 liter bottle of water. So the container is from a 5 liter bottle of water. I hope I made that clear. But anyway, so now it's grown and grown and grown. So it's pretty cool. Water propagations are a really easy way to help yourself learn how to grow things. So I would recommend starting with like an onion, like a green onion, is really good. And sometimes they already have the roots attached, but if the roots aren't attached, it usually doesn't take that long for the roots to come from the bulb. So you can see really quick growth with that. And then you kind of build your confidence. You be like, I'm out here growing things. I'm out here growing things. Okay. So you can do that. Like you can do that just with stuff in your kitchen. I'm really big on reusing like jars and all that kind of stuff too. So let's say you had a jar of salsa, for instance. Once you finish with that, keep that jar, wash that out. Now you have a container for a plant. Okay. Like reduce, reuse, recycle. All right. So yeah. Oh, real quick. So the healing circle we had this past Saturday. So Vanessa and I from the Well Educator collaborated for the healing circle. It was such a good time. We had representation from various places in the US, South America, as well as Germany. And it was such an awesome time to be able to just have space held and to breathe and to just take a moment to just be, to learn more about women who are in various places, Black women, especially when you're thinking about what does it look like to be Black in the US versus Black in Europe versus Black in South America. It was a good time. It was a good time. So, I want to remind you all that we do the Healing Circle every second Saturday of the month. So our next healing circle is on Saturday, October 11th. And you can go ahead and register. You go to tinyurl.com/Black Women Healing Circle, and you can go ahead and register now for the next several that we have coming up so that you can get those times onto your calendar and that time reserved and held. Because, child, if your life is anything like mine, girl, if it ain't on the calendar, girl, did it even happen? Because I definitely wasn't there. Okay. So we want to make sure that we reserve that time and stuff. But if you go to tinyurl.com/Black Women Healing Circle, you can register for the Healing Circle and get connected. Again, it is a Black women only space. So I do ask you to have your camera on so that I'm able to see that you are indeed a Black woman. But if you are like, I don't feel like doing a whole yoga flow, I just want to sit here and breathe, you can do that too. You can listen if you feel like you need to receive more than you want to give. So there's definitely a lot of flexibility in that, but the flexibility is not in who is there. So it is a Black woman space. So if you are a Black woman, or if you know a Black woman who might benefit from yoga and breathing and somatic exercises and just having a community of women across the world, bring them on down to the healing circle. So again, tinyurl.com/Black Women Healing Circle. All right. And lastly, a reminder of our soul work. Right now, we are talking about the characteristics that we need to feel safe in sisterhood and community and relationship and partnership with other people. We are making us a list of what those things are, what they look like, what they sound like. We are being intentional about curating understanding for ourselves so that we are able to set appropriate boundaries for those who are in our lives and carve out our own safe spaces that we are able to be in so that we are not walking out here feeling like we are alone in this world. Okay. All right. Insert commercial here while I drink my tea. What if the thing you've always called too much was the exact thing God designed on purpose? This is for the ones who've always known they were different. Too sensitive, too loud, too knowing, too intuitive, too woo-woo. But what if your sensitivity is actually your superpower? What if your intuition was your inheritance? Discover Your Destiny is a 10-week sacred journey back to yourself. We explore the design of your soul, your spiritual gifts, and the unique way that God speaks to you. This isn't church. It's not a rule book. It's not a performance. It's the moment you stop chasing approval and start walking in divine alignment. You'll gain clarity, language, and confidence around who you are and what you are here on the earth to do. You'll learn the real voice of God. And if you feel called to go on to become a certified intuitive melanated life coach, this is where that path begins. There are 2 ways to enter this sacred container: the Destiny track, full investments and coaching experience, or the Divine Exchange track, where internship meets soul work. You'll support podcasting, content creation, or brand development behind the scenes while learning how your unique gifts benefit the collective. Your knowing isn't a flaw, it's the fingerprint of God. This is your invitation, and I hope that you'll answer. Man, this tea is so good. This is becoming my most favorite thing to do, is to make and drink tea. It really is fun to think about all the different combinations and what they actually do. I put calendula in here. Calendula is marigold because it has healing properties for like skin and things like that. Like it heals skin and intestines and such. And I just want to make sure that as it's almost like I have to stay in a state of preparation for this cycle that is coming, right? Because it comes every month, Lord Jesus. Um, so the calendula kind of helps with making sure that my skin is rejuvenating, like my cells are doing the work of making new cells and keeping us together. Okay, so I like this with the mint. Did I mention that it was calendula earlier? I might have didn't say that. So let me say this again. The tea for today. The tea for today is hibiscus, marigold, mint, and infused coconut oil, brown sugar. Okay, that I forgot about that. I forgot about the marigold that I put in here. Speaking of marigold, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. This is the last thing I'm gonna say for real, before I get into the things. Dia de los Muertos is coming up next month. Well, technically November, but preparing up to Halloween. And I'm really excited about Dia de los Muertos. It is my absolute favorite holiday. After living in Mexico and living in Mexico City and seeing how big of a deal Dia de los Muertos is, I can't wait to tell y'all about it and like celebrate, because I definitely want to do the ofrenda this year, and I have some new pictures of ancestors that I can put on the ofrenda. So I'm excited about that. So more information coming. Okay, okay. All right, moving on. Oh my God. So today is September 17th, 2025, for history's sake. And there has been a lot that has been happening in the US, a lot that has been happening in the world. And so I guess we will start with frolicking in the feed. And I will say, being in the feed ain't felt so frolicky these days. It has not felt so frolicky. It has definitely felt very polarizing and heavy and concerning and urgent, if you will, very telling. So, for context, for those who may not know what is happening, and or just to set the context for anyone in the future who is watching this, or anyone who has not been watching the news. So, there is a man named Charlie Kirk, a white man that was a podcaster and like personality. He was doing a speech at Utah Valley University. He's the co-founder of Turning Point USA, which I'm not really familiar with, but that's his podcast. I had never heard of this man before this man was unalived, but now that's all that we have learned about. So anyway, he was the co-founder of Turning Point USA, and he was shot in the neck while speaking at Utah Valley University on September 10th. 2025. So that was 1 week ago. All right. So, matter of fact, it happened right after I had finished recording the Frolicking Truth last week. And then this happened. So, this whole week has been all about this man, Charlie Kirk. So, the shot was fired from a rooftop that was about 200 yards away. Well, come to find out, the suspect is named Tyler Robinson, who is a 22-year-old white man, white Mormon, MAGA loving, gun toting, Republican voting, white man who claimed that he did not like Charlie Kirk's rhetoric. So he is currently facing aggravated murder charges, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and other charges, and the prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Okay. As they were investigating, they found DNA evidence that linked him to the scene. They found a towel, and they found a screwdriver, as well as surveillance footage. They also found messages through Discord that he used to text a roommate, and that appeared to show premeditation and intent. And again, some of these messages allegedly included commentary about hating Charlie Kirk's political viewpoints or being fed up with his rhetoric. What I was going to say just a moment ago was, the interesting thing is that Charlie Kirk was a spokesperson for white supremacy and evangelical Christian nationalism. None of which, by the way, is aligned with the teachings and belief of Jesus Christ. Okay, I just want to put that out there. All right, and I'll get back to that in a second. But Charlie Kirk was very much known for speaking hateful and harmful rhetoric against Black people, against LGBTQ population, against anybody who was othered from being white, male, evangelical. Even in that, he, by a lot of people, was not seen as far right enough. There were people who felt like Charlie Kirk was actually liberal, which is wild. So as they being the administration and mainstream media are trying to piece together a narrative about why this could have happened, they're doing everything in their power to try to make it the fault of somebody other than this white man from Utah who is a Mormon, who is MAGA loving, gun toting, Trump voting. And so, in the fallout of everything that happened with Charlie Kirk, which was a very white on white crime type of situation, there were up to 9 HBCUs that received bomb threats and had to go on lockdown, had to suspend classes, had to do all sorts of things because that white rage then turned against Black people. And that's wild because how we get in it. We minding our Black ass business. How we get in it when the white man done killed the other white man over whiteness, and why how we get in it. Because they are looking for any way to be able to make us the ones who are at fault. So there was an uptick in threats against Black people. I also want to pause here and give a full on trigger warning and say, if this feels triggering to you, baby, go ahead and click out and tend to what you need to do. Okay? Because it's a lot that's been going on. So after that happened, there were also reports of Black men who were found hanging from trees in Mississippi. So his name was Demar Travion or Trey Reed. He was 21, found hanging from a tree on Delta State University campus. Delta State University is in Cleveland, Mississippi. And Trey was found hanging from a tree on campus. The body was found around 7:05 a.m. near the pickleball courts, which is a highly visible area in the center of the campus. His death occurred during Delta State's centennial celebrations, prompting the university to cancel classes and events for the day. What should have been a week of joy and commemoration for the institution quickly turned into mourning and uncertainty. Now, this is the thing, is that there has been a joint investigation launched by the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Bolivar County Sheriff's Department, Cleveland Police, and Delta State University Police. At this stage, officials stated that no evidence of foul play has been found. However, they stressed that the matter was under active review and an autopsy was pending. Now, this is the thing that we also heard about Trey, is that he had a broken arm and a broken leg. And I don't know if you know this, but it would be very difficult to hang yourself from a tree with two broken limbs. So it's interesting that no foul play has been found. Since this was recorded, I came across an article titled Coroner Addresses Discussion of Broken Bones and Hanging of Black Man at Delta State in Mississippi. It reads in part, at this current time, we are conducting a thorough death investigation based on the preliminary examination. We can confirm that the deceased did not suffer any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with an assault. At this time, there is no evidence to suggest the individual was physically attacked before his death. And again, that is a statement that was put out by the Bolivar County Coroner's Office through Cleveland Police Department. It just reminds me of all the lists of people, like when we still fighting for justice for Breonna Taylor, who was in her home minding her black ass business, sleep, and lost her life. And there are so many names of people where no foul play was found. I want us to also be paying attention to what is happening, and it's not for to arise like a state of fear, but it is to pay attention and be aware of what is happening, because I keep saying there's a lot that's happening, but that lot doesn't feel it, like saying that does not even encapsulate how much a lot is. And again, it's a highly visible area. So how nobody ain't see nothing? How is there no foul play? But okay. So that happened. And then simultaneously, there have also been several mandates, executive orders, executive actions that have happened regarding people speaking out about Charlie Kirk. So I told you about Charlie Kirk's rhetoric, the harmful and hateful things that he would say. He also said that he doesn't believe in empathy. He said that he feels that gun violence or losing gun deaths is a natural thing, especially if we want to keep our Second Amendment rights. And the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. You know, some people gonna have to die sometimes, is kind of the stance that he took. And then when he was asked about children, he would say things like, it is what it is. You know, it's just a natural consequence of being able to have the right to bear arms. So people naturally are like feeling ways as this man has died. Okay. And so, from the administration, from the regime that is currently occupying the White House, it sounded like this man is a good man of God. He's a martyr. He died for his religion and beliefs, and, you know, don't speak ill of the dead, and, you know, his poor wife and his poor kids. And we should really, you know, just send them our thoughts and prayers and love and such. And then there were people who were like, "Who? What y'all having for dinner? Somebody needs something from the store." Like completely just what? Who? Then there were people who, and I'm gonna talk to the black people who call themselves Christians and also idolize this man who was clearly not a Christian. So before I get into that, so what the regime is doing is they are targeting people who are speaking out against Charlie Kirk and or who are sharing Charlie Kirk's own words. He said he didn't believe in empathy, so why should we be giving empathy to him? Or who are uplifting clips that he has shared from his podcast or his various speaking engagements where he spoke negatively about black people. People are very vocal about that and speaking out against this. Let's make him a martyr and let's idolize him. They're talking about putting up statues and giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom and like all this kind of stuff. Like there are people who are like, hell no. And then the administration is now tracking people, so not now tracking, but openly tracking people's social media and making it very evident that they are going to take people's jobs and cause people to lose their livelihood over this concept of free speech. And it's so interesting because Charlie Kirk was supposed to be somebody who was all about free speech. He was all about having he said there's no such thing as hate speech in the US. It's all free. We all have free speech. And then you have Attorney General Pam Bondi, who I told y'all I know from Florida. Attorney General Pam Bondi is actively saying if you put something on social media and we find out about it and you speak out against this man, we're going to make sure that you lose your livelihood. So all of that's going on. Then we have the blacks who call themselves Christians. Now, let me be very clear here about how I identify. Now, I grew up as a Christian. I grew up as a Christian. And I will say that I have claimed Christianity probably up until the last year or so. I now do not call myself a Christian because the word Christian has been bastardized, and Christianity does not mean anything in remotely close to who Jesus Christ of Nazareth was. Christianity in the US, and I'm not going to even say in the well, I will say in the US because that's what I'm talking about right now, but I'm just going to say Christianity totally because this evangelical Christian nationalist movement is not only in the US. I just told you we had representation from Germany during the healing circle. And one of the ladies shared that Charlie Kirk and everything that's happening has reached to Germany. And she was like, as a black woman, I don't feel comfortable with everything that's happening here in my country. And that man ain't even from this country. That man is from the United States, and his rhetoric has reached over here to our country. And now we have white Christian nationalist movements that are happening and rising up and feeling more empowered and all that kind of stuff, right? So this situation of this man that many of us have never even heard of has now resulted in this global movement of people trying to idolize and martyrize him. And it's wild to watch. It is very much cognitive dissonance. It is very much giving Twilight Zone. It is very much giving what in the entire fuck is going on right now, and what Jesus y'all talking about. Like what is happening? So I've really been trying to process like how I wanted to talk about this because my frustration with a lot of what is happening is not with the whites. I expect the white people to do what white people do. White people are going to be loyal to whiteness inherently. And it takes a lot for white people to decide to actively work against the construct of whiteness. And those people just so happen to be white. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about white people that cringe when you let them know that they are white, that weaponize their whiteness, that utilize their white privilege to be able to oppress other people. That's who I'm talking about right now. And also, I'm not mad at them because white people gonna do what white people do. The frustration for me has come from black people who identify as Christians, who are calling for this empathy in regard to this man who spewed so much hatred throughout his life. And so when we talk about this concept of empathy, let's actually look it up. Let's actually get a definition of what empathy means. I know how I describe it when it comes to school, for instance. Um, but I want to see the actual dictionary, Oxford Dictionary definition. So, empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Now, you know what's interesting is that I had just showed us the brain model. Jesus, I can't talk right now. I had just showed us the brain model, and I was talking about what happens in these particular areas of our brain, right? Now, I'm gonna let y'all make y'all own conclusions about this, but I'm just gonna bring this back up just for the sake of making sure that we have a scientific outlook on what is going on. So, empathy lives in the prefrontal cortex, the decision making center of the brain. Our prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until between the ages of 25 to 27. That's the first thing that we need to know. We also need to know that in order for us to be able to access our upstairs brain, right? So we have downstairs brain and upstairs brain. In order for us to be able to access our upstairs brain, we have to be outside of survival state and we have to be in a state of feeling loved and connected. That is the only way that we are able to access empathy. So, hearing someone say that empathy does not exist says to me that they do not have the ability to operate in their upstairs brain. Do with that what you will, because empathy is definitely a thing. It is definitely something that, as when we're talking about our soul work, for instance, and talking about community and what are the qualities and characteristics that we want to have within these safe places, empathy got to be present. You've got to be able to understand somebody else's experience outside of your own. And people who are not able to do that are not people that do well in safe community. But anyway, having said that though, we are not entitled to extend empathy to people who have done harm, continue to do harm, have made a living off of doing harm, have intentionally done harm. We are not obligated to extend empathy to those types of people. And what we fail to realize in the Black church is that the version of Christianity that was given to us in the Black church is steeped in white supremacy culture. Of course, they would tell us that we need to turn the other cheek. Of course, they would tell us that we need to, excuse and, what they say, love the sinner, hate the sin. Of course, they would give us all of these caveats of ways to be able to continue to make excuses and continue to make room for such hateful and harmful people, because slave masters don't want us to know that we too are human and we should also be receiving empathy. So the onus was placed on us as the non-humans to have to extend all this empathy towards whiteness and white inferiority complex and white supremacy culture. So while empathy is necessary for us to exist in safe community, I do not have to give my empathy to someone who is looking to cause me harm. I don't have to be compassionate towards those types of people. So I want to give us some examples of when Jesus, the Jesus that they claim to be following, when Jesus felt some type of way, if you will, about things that were happening in his name, in God's name, in the world when he was walking this earth. Okay. So we often hear about Jesus clearing the temple. So we can find this in John 2:13 through 17, or Matthew 21:12 through 13. Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. Jesus had an issue with exploitation of the poor. Jesus had an issue with economic oppression and spiritual corruption. One of the things that Jesus did often was called out the religious elite. If we go to Matthew 23:13 through 33, Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You have neglected the more important matters of the law: justice, mercy, and faithfulness. Jesus often was going toe to toe with the Pharisees and the Sadducees all the time, because Jesus did not come to uphold this law that did not allow us to see people as people. So Jesus publicly rebuked those types of behaviors. He publicly rebuked religion to dominate and exclude. And he consistently talked about justice and mercy for those who are less fortunate. So any language that is talking about oppressing other people or harming other people in the name of God, in the name of Jesus, is a whole ass lie. Because Jesus wasn't for that. Jesus wasn't for, oh, you can only do certain religious practices on certain days. So they used to get all up in arms about Jesus healing on the Sabbath. In Mark 3, 1 and 6, it says, he looked around at them in anger and deeply distressed at their stubborn hearts and said to the man, stretch out your hand. I got you, bro. Go, you stretch out your hand. And Jesus ain't just stretch out your hand. Oh, now it's healed. You see that? Your faith has healed you. While the leaders were focused on this rigid rule keeping and keeping people separated from God, Jesus was here to help us to understand who God actually is and to have a direct line. For those of us who claim to be Christians, we believe that Jesus died for our sins so that we were no longer stained in God's eyes. We were covered by the blood so that we were able to go to God. We don't have to go through a pastor. We don't have to go through the Holy of Holies. We don't have to go through altars and sacrifices and all that. We could just be like, yo, God, my boy, what's up? That is why Jesus came. But we have so many people who are gatekeeping Jesus and gatekeeping religion and using it as a way to come across as elitist and you better than somebody else and all that, and to excuse harm, because these same people are not speaking out against the genocide that's happening in Palestine. These same people are not talking about what's happening in Congo and Sudan. These same people are not giving a care about the homeless and those who are being harmed every day by rhetoric. They don't care about none of that. But then when it comes to this white man, now you got all this empathy to extend. Miss me with it. Miss me with it all of it. So I no longer identify as a Christian. I follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. These people that are claiming to be Christians do not know Jesus. And I wish I was watching here's the thing yesterday with Kev on Stage and that chick Angel. And they were talking about this, of course, and they were talking about like how there are so many like other things that are at play here, and there's so much propaganda that has been at play and so much what do I want to call it, cult like behavior, honestly. If that kind of encapsulates it all, it's cult like behavior, and it's not of God, it's not from God. So when we as Black Christians, when I'm saying we as Black Christians, when those who are Black who identify as Christians are making excuses for deep harm and trauma, that is not of God. And it shouldn't be confusing. Especially historically, the Black church has been a place where people have gone to find safety, where they've gone to find instructions on how to get to safety. So now, when the Black church is a part of the oppression, where do the people go to get instructions and to find safety? And this is why I am so heavy on people having a personal relationship with God, because we don't. Oh, this is what I was gonna say too. They had read. There's this situation that happened with this pastor, this black pastor, who fired a praise team member on, like, in the service publicly in front of everybody. She was just like, and because she said the lady hugged her funny. Well, come to find out, the lady hugged her, or allegedly hugged her funny, because the lady, the praise team lady, had just been told that she wasn't going to get paid for her services anymore. So then after that, I guess she was still expected to sing or whatever. But then the first lady pastor is like, I feel some type of way. She hugged me funny, so you could go ahead on and sit down. So then there was this uproar because it was put on the TikTok, right? So then after that, the husband, who's the pastor, he gets up there and he's like, I support my wife and she didn't do nothing wrong. And so upholding this stuff, right? Like, these types of behaviors are not of God. This is not of God. God don't be in them churches. So this church winds up having Yelp reviews. So they have like all 1-star reviews on their Yelp page because people are like, yeah, this is not a safe place for people to be. All churches should have Yelp reviews. All churches should have a way, a reference situation where you can go and really understand. And I wish, over my period of times that I had been in churches, that I put more respect on the gifts and things that I knew that I had, as opposed to following what somebody else said was what was supposed to be done. Because when I tell you God don't be in them churches, and I'm telling you what I know firsthand, God do not be in them churches. It is a whole bunch of charisma and emotional manipulation is what be happening in them churches. And especially, is the Bible says you will know the tree by the fruit that it bears. If you got black pastors who are upholding white supremacists, we done missed the plot. We done missed the plot. We done missed the plot. We done missed it. If you have black people who are upholding white supremacy, we done missed it, y'all. We done missed it. Because that is not what God has planned for us. That's not what God wants for us. And to allow ourselves to let white people make us think that this is what God wants for us, and that we have to overextend ourselves and have to show up to uphold a white supremacist culture, that is not of God. So I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. And I'm also very curious about what the pastor's preaching about in y'all's churches. There's been another pastor, he went viral for saying this. I don't remember his name right now. I'll find it and put it in post production. But he went viral for being like, no, we don't have to care that this man died.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated. But I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half staff, calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist, spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land. Hearing people with selective rage who were mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home, tell me I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry, but there's nowhere in Bible where we are taught to honor evil. How you die does not redeem how you lived.
We don't have to extend empathy towards this man. We don't have to feel anything. And that's what I feel about it, apathy. I don't. My life has not changed any way, one or another, whether Charlie Kirk is alive or not. But what I do know is that the fallout from him not being here anymore is something that we need to pay attention to, because this is a very pivotal moment in history. This is a pivotal moment in history. And this is going to shape a lot of the excuses that are going to be used about why things are being turned up another notch. So, knowing all of that, I take us back to our soul work. And our soul work is, what do we need to feel safe in community? Because as Black people, we have to be really, really, really intentional with who we have around us. All skin folk are not kinfolk. And I think that's really important for us to understand. Now is the time for us to really be thinking about our own discernment and tapping into our own gifts and our own relationship with God, because your spirit will let you know who is a safe person and what is a safe space and what is not. Your spirit will let you know if the doors are open for you to be able to know that this might be a place of potential harm. Something else Jesus said was about not causing harm. In Matthew 18:6, it says, "If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea." Jesus is out here to protect the vulnerable, not to further exploit them. When we have anger that's rooted in love and justice, that is righteous anger. That is holy, and it protects the vulnerable and it confronts the system of harm. We are, if we are following the teachings of Jesus, called to be social justice activists. That is our call, because that's what Jesus did. So if we really, what would Jesus do? We got, what would Jesus would stand up for those who are being hurt. Jesus would talk about the things that are causing harm and not shy away from talking about those things. Jesus would not cower and just excuse. So how are we showing up like Jesus? And how are we requiring those who are in community with us to show up with those same types of characteristics? For me, empathy is a non-negotiable. You got to be able to understand that there are other people on the face of this planet, and that those people have feelings and those people matter and those are human beings. I cannot be in any type of relationship with somebody who feels comfortable in dehumanizing other people. I can't do it. And I'm not going to try to do it, because that's not what Jesus would do. I can't be in relationship with people who say one thing and do something else. I can't operate around a hypocritical type of spirit. That's not of God. God is very clear on things. What would it say? You got to be hot or cold. Can't be lukewarm. They spew you out the mouth. I don't want to be around lukewarm people, especially when it comes to humanity. No, you could be lukewarm about your food preferences, whether you want a fish sandwich or a chicken sandwich. You can be lukewarm about that, but about whether the fact that I deserve to live and breathe, no, that's not. No, that's not it. And this is a time where many false prophets are out here. I told y'all what my gifts are, and I don't be out here, being all like I'm Prophet Kimberly. Like, I'm not doing all that. But if you've been watching and listening, you will know the tree by the fruit that it bears. Okay? If you've been watching and listening, you know that you know. But there are also many false prophets that are out here that, again, in this world of charisma um and emotional manipulation, they are riling up people around the wrong things. So this is a time for us to check and to really, really tune into ourselves, because our responsibility is to protect ourselves and to protect each other. That's our responsibility to each other. So that means that I have to be connected and caring about people. in order to do that. So I don't know what else is gonna happen. I'm saying I don't know. I do actually know. I know some of the things that are gonna happen because we've been here before. I don't know if y'all knew that. We've been here before. Everything that is happening, history is absolutely repeating itself. So we do in many ways have a blueprint for what is about to happen. My question is, how are we going to keep ourselves safe in community so that we are able to insulate ourselves as much as possible from the pending harm? I pray that we don't start seeing a whole bunch more strange fruit hanging from trees. However, this is America. So, what are we doing to make sure that we're safe? How are we cutting out these systems that are keeping us tied to a system that does not care about us? How are we bartering with each other to make sure that we are supporting each other instead of relying on a system that does not care about us? How are we educating our children so that we are not relying on a school system that is actively indoctrinating our children because they do not care about us? How are we showing up to do those things? So I want you to, in the comments this week, put down what your specialty is. What is the thing that you do or the thing that you can contribute to community? Because we need each other, y'all. We need each other bad, really bad. So, giving yourself a chance to kind of do an inventory. This is where I live and all this. This is what this looks like. Somebody had recommended a book to me the other day. Let me see if I could find it. It's called We is it We Refuse. I be wanting to call it We Resist. We Refuse. It is a book. The author is named Kelly Carter Jackson. And let me share my screen so you can see this, but I'm going to also put this in post production. So, We Refuse by A Forceful History of Black Resistance by Kelly Carter Jackson. And in this book, it talks about different ways that we can refuse. So, revolution, protection, force, flight, or joy. And my refusal is in the space of joy. My refusal is in supporting people and accessing their joy and understanding what their joy looks like and sounds like for them, and people being able to identify how they can actively resist being in survival mode and not being able to access creativity and all of the things that live in our upstairs brain. My work is in helping people to calm their nervous systems so that we are able to think rationally and we are able to connect to others and we are able to protect ourselves. That's my work. Because if we remain in survival mode, we are not able to do what we need to do to keep ourselves free. That's where I live. My question to you is, where do you live? What is your work? And or what part of that revolution do you feel called to? Everybody is not called to be on the front lines, on picket lines. And honestly, and I'm saying picket lines with protests, it's at this point, I don't think it's any Black person's job to be on the front lines of nothing, especially when it comes to putting our bodies on the line. I don't think that's our job right now. I think we have done that enough. I think that our jobs happen behind the scenes in this collective community building. But that's just my opinion. Some of you may be called to the front lines. And if that is where you're called to, what does that look like for you? How are you going to keep yourself safe in that? How are you going to protect yourself in that? How are you going to support yourself in that? How are you going to rejuvenate yourself in that if you choose to be somebody who's on the front lines of this fight? What does that look like and sound like for you? And if you're not on the front lines and you choose to be in the background, what support are you giving to those who may be on the front lines? So again, for me, as someone who is a healer, as someone who lives in this restorative place, once you get out the fight, you got to come and heal. We got to bandage you up. We got to get you together. That's where I live. And I know that, right? So the question is, what does that look like for you? So that is all for what I have for today. I know today wasn't like all bubbly and all of that and giggly and such. And I wish that I had some bubbly and giggly to give towards things holistically, but that's just not where we are right now. But having said that, I am creating bubbly and giggly in my own life. So once I get from off of here, I'm about to go blow me some bubbles. Okay. I'm about to have me some more tea. I'm about to listen to some music. I'm going to dance to move this stuck energy out of my body, right? Those are all things that we're able to do to be able to support ourselves. So I also challenge you to find some release because we can't hold it all in. We don't want to hold it in and stuff it down. We got to take it in, process it, and get rid of it. Take it in, process it, get rid of it. We cannot hold on to all this toxic energy that wasn't created for us either. All right. So, having said that, that's all I got to say for today. I do want to invite you again to be a part of my inner circle. The inner circle is where you will have access to the classes and things that I will be doing as I'm talking about making these products and what that looks like and sounds like, as well as we have some test kitchens that are planned. Oh, side note, remember I had told y'all I'm not gonna tell y'all all the things right now. I'm gonna probably tell my Patreon, but I told y'all that we have been working on this podcast, this new podcast. And child, we got a name, we got a logo, we got oh my god. I'm so excited about it. It's gonna be such a good time. But so that podcast will air on Minding My Black Ass Business on this channel, but also sometimes we're going to do like live events and things that will invite you all to and when I say you all, I mean the inner circle. So if you are part of the inner circle, then you get the ability to be able to hang out with us, chop it up with us, have the laughs, all the things, whatever. And I know y'all don't know what that looks like yet, but you will soon, so stay posted. Okay. But anyway, so joining the inner circle is $5 a month, and again, it gives you access to everything that's happening behind the scenes in the Mind of My Black Ass Business universe, with myself, with everybody who is connected to the universe, whether that be Content Kalanda, whether that be this new podcast. We got things coming. All right. So you want to be in here so that you know the no. All right. So go to patreon.com/minding my black ass business. Join the inner circle. It's $5 a month. The first 7 days are free. And you have the ability to be in the know about all of the things that are happening. And you get the satisfaction of knowing that you are supporting a movement that is actively working to free us. Okay? Actively working to free us. So I would love to have you. I would love to have you over there. So please do come say hi and hang out with us. Patreon.com/minding my black ass business, which is all we be trying to do. All right. So, our closing quote for today is actually a quote that I have in my email because I think it is important for people to know who I am. And that quote is by Frederick Douglass, someone that many people have tried to turn him into this passive person who was just, kind of going along to get along. And that is not who Frederick Douglass was. Frederick Douglass was an abolitionist. Frederick Douglass was someone who learned how to read when slaves were not allowed to read. So today's quote is from Frederick Douglass, and it says, "The thing worse than rebellion is the thing that causes rebellion." I want us to stay focused. I want us to stay focused on the actual cause of what is happening right now. I want us to focus our eyes on the systems that are in place that are trying to cause us long-term generational harm beyond what we've already had to experience. I want us to focus on that cause. And when we focus on that cause, that will help us to have the righteous anger that we need to use to be able to create a world that we actually deserve to live in, not the one that whiteness and capitalism has created for us. All right? So, on that note, that's it. That's all. I will see y'all back here next week. Actually, today we have an episode of Heal That Shit that will be premiering. So if you go to youtube.com/Heal That Shit, you will be able to see all of our episodes from Life Unfiltered Heal That Shit with myself and Bianca. So if you're looking for some additional content, go ahead on over there and check that out, because I'm sure we're going to continue talking about all this stuff and how we are dealing with that. So that's it. That's all, y'all. Go into the description, get all the links for all the things, like the video, comment, share, subscribe, talk to people in your circles so that you are able to understand where people are and really able to make sure that you have a community of people that are showing up for you in the ways that they need to show up, in the ways to keep you safe. All right? All right. That's it. That's all. Bye. Thank you for listening to The Frolicking Truth, where joy meets justice and our nervous systems get free. Please be sure to like, rate, and comment. Subscribe to the YouTube page, Minding My Black Ass Business, and follow me on all social platforms. Until next time.